Lots of political stories trending today, and not all of them involve Donald Trump, believe it or not, but most of them do. Here to sift through them with us is editor-at-large at natsentinel.com. That would be Kira Davis. Kira, welcome back to America Trends. All right,
Hi,
Kira.
Dr. Gina. It's a pleasure to be back.
It's a pleasure to have you. All right, Kira, before we get to the Donald, I want to ask you about President Obama's Ban the Box initiative. He signed an executive order, Kira, today that prohibits job applicants from being asked about their criminal history in their job interviews for government jobs. Kira, we're going to have all kinds of criminals in our government now. Wait, that doesn't really change much, does it?
I think it'll be just about the same. No, well, I think that this is, I'm nervous about this development. I understand the thinking behind it. You know, I have a lot of ex-cons in my family, people that have served their time and want to get back to being citizens of this country. So I understand that sometimes one mistake can follow you in a way that's very, very inconvenient and can affect your life. That being said, if this trickles down to the private sector, we're in for a lot of trouble, because I think if you own a bank, you should be able to ask your employees if they've ever been arrested for stealing money. If you run a daycare, don't you want to have the right to ask your employees if they've ever been charged with child molestation or sexual assault?
That's my question. So, like, can you not ask about sexual crimes? I mean, if I'm, working with someone, I'd like to know that they don't have a history of raping people. Or if I'm hiring, like you said, daycare workers or even the school janitor, I'd kind of like to know that he's not a sexual predator. Just saying.
Well, you don't want to hire, if you work at a rape counseling clinic, you don't want to have to hire somebody who's been convicted of rape. Right? That makes sense, so this is another thing, the government stepping in and doing what private citizens are already doing. There are many programs out there that help get ex-convicts back into the mainstream, and they do well without government. In fact, statistics show they do better without government. This is just Obama, posturing and just trying to get as much done as he can before it's time for him to go.
Or maybe he's thinking ahead for Hillary. She's going to need a job at some point after she serves her time.
Maybe.
All right, Kira, also, as you could have guessed, Donald Trump trending today. He said Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a terrible person. People are really fired up about that on social media today. Kira, should Donald Trump just be nice to everybody, even Debbie Wasserman Schultz?
Okay, first of all, Debbie Wasserman Schultz might really be an awful person. She has an awful job, and I think you probably have to be a little bit awful to be in that job. But are we surprised at what the Donald says anymore? Who cares? Like, what do we expect him to say about the opposition? This is what we have come to expect from Donald Trump. So I don't think at this point, I don't think it damages him, and I don't think anyone should even be offended. I mean, I don't think there's no steam in his insults. They get a lot of traction because they're hilarious, and it's just great for public consumption. But, there's nothing behind it. I mean, it's Donald Trump. This guy, the hair, like everything. We don't need to take everything he says so seriously. And the people that want to keep getting offended about Donald crack me up.
Yeah, because they just play right into what almost seems at this point as a brilliant strategy to trend every day, spend no money, run for president, and stay ahead in the polls.
Spend no money.
Spend no money. The one who has all the money spends no money. It's amazing. Another Donald Trump story trending today. He says that he turned down an invite to be on John Oliver's show last week tonight. Trump said, John Oliver had his people call to ask me to be in his very boring and low-rated show, and I said, no thanks, waste of time and energy. John Oliver denies that claim. Kira, who do you believe?
Well, I don't care if it's true or not. I really don't. I will tell you what, though, Donald Trump, it wouldn't surprise me because everywhere he goes, there are huge ratings. So why wouldn't John Oliver want to extend an invitation to Donald Trump? If I was a producer, I would absolutely do that. But Trump's right. What could Don Oliver do for him? He does not have even a third of the ratings that The Apprentice has. And like you just said, Dr. Gina, he's been trending every day. A Marco Rubio or Carly Fiorina, they would do well to go on a show like Last Week Tonight, where they could get more exposure and people could get to know them, Everybody already knows Donald Trump. They know who he is. They know what he does. They know what he says. what possible purpose could it serve him and his campaign to go on that show? He would only be bringing John Oliver ratings. And why would he do that to someone who is openly hostile to him and his campaign? So I don't know if it's true or not. I think it probably is true. And I think Donald Trump was probably really smart for saying no. He doesn't need it.
Rick Harrison trending today. He is the star of the reality TV show Pawn Stars. He says that after he announced his support for Marco Rubio, life got hard. What happened, Kira?
I don't know. I don't know. Did life get hard because he announced support for Marco Rubio, or is it because he's a reality TV star spouting off about politics and people don't want to hear what he has to say about politics? I don't know. I will say this, that you and I, Gina, we both live in Southern California, so our lives are entertainment centric. We do know that sometimes people do pay a consequence for expressing conservative views in the entertainment industry. So in that respect, I do believe him. But, this is a primary. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't even really got to the ugly stuff yet. So for him to say that it's to the point where his business is being negatively affected, I don't know, that sounds like a PR thing to me.
Or maybe because he
boycott.
Or Kira, though, maybe realistically, you and I have both encountered the cruelty that comes from saying you're in any way conservative, maybe because it was Marco Rubio, who is at least perceived by Democrats as a conservative. Maybe that's where he went wrong. I mean, maybe you're just not allowed to think that in Hollywood.
I have no idea. I mean, first of all, he tapes in Las Vegas. So that's a whole different atmosphere. I have no idea. I don't know that maybe he just got a little bit of blowback on the Twitters and made it into the story that, now, look, we're talking about him now, on social media. But there's no doubt that there are repercussions to be paid. At the same time, I don't know that it would be enough to really affect his business. Now, if he comes out for the ultimate Republican candidate, then you'll have people really get serious. I mean, look what happened to Stacey Dash when she decided she was going to support Mitt Romney.
Good point.
It just, everything blew up, exploded. So I think you'll see things intensify as we get closer to generals. I don't know that I'm too concerned about what he's experiencing right now.
All right, Kira Davis, thank you so much for being with us. And up next, we're going to talk to Ryan Sorba about why the left is trying to force Airbnb out of business. We'll be back in just a moment with more America Trends. Stay there.